Hey everybody. Oh, should probably do a test. See if my mic's on. Test, test, test. Hey, looky there. Getting better at YouTube every day. Hey everybody, what's happening? This is the Mowrator S1 all-wheel drive remote control lawnmower. I'm super excited to show this to you, so let's get into it.
They see me mowing on the back street, remote in my hand, got the grass looking sweet. Boots in the yard, but I don't break a sweat. Cowboy gangster with the clean cut set.
I would love to break the video down like this for you. I want to talk about the stats, and I kind of want to give you the stats for all the stat people, and some features, some functions, and then later on in the video, I will give you the benefit part of my opinion. What do I think they should keep the same? What do I think that they should fix? So here you go. You've got the Mowrator S1. This is the all-wheel drive version. It does come with a two-wheel drive version if you wanted to just kind of do your front yard and backyard. You didn't have any major slopes that you wanted to take care of. It's all electric, so you don't got to worry about changing the oil. You don't got to worry about winterizing it. You don't have to do any of that just stuff. You just pull the battery out. Very easy to do. The battery's an 18 amp battery that will run for about 2 hours and 15 minutes, somewhere around there. It will mow an acre. So you've got about a little bit over an acre. You have an acre's worth of power, basically, if you're gonna mow it. That battery is going to charge in about 90 minutes. The remote has a separate battery. It's going to charge via USB port. When you buy one of these, it comes with a kit, and you just, inside the kit, it's got an inverter, I think is what they call it. I could be wrong in that, but you just plug it into the wall, and then you plug the inverter into the battery. It charges in about 90 minutes, no big deal. I usually just plug both of them up, and I walk away and I go do something else. I don't really know how long it takes to charge because it's always charged when I come back and check on it. It is what it is. It does very well in that respect. It's not inconvenient. The charge time isn't inconvenient to me. So that battery is going to supply power to the wheels. This is an all-wheel drive version. Both wheels are going to be turning, where on the rear-wheel drive, just your rear wheels, and then your front two wheels will steer and float. In this one, it's supplying power to all four wheels, 3,200 RPM for the blade, which is a 21-inch tungsten coated blade. There's completely different blades that you can buy and you can switch out from their website. There's also some more robust tires on their website also, which will take this from a 75% slope to an 85 to 100% slope. I mean, this thing is no opinions yet, but it's a beast on the hills. So about 37 degrees slope where it stands right now as it's built now. 6 foot-pounds of torque with this powertrain. I don't know how you would call it, but it's a tank for the lawn. We can just say that right there. I want to talk about safety, because the primary demographic for this is people that maybe are disabled in some way, right? They can use this remote to mow their lawn. They can use this remote to mow a steep embankment. And if anybody's ever gotten a bid from someone in lawn care, whenever you have a steep embankment, that significantly raises the price because their risk goes up by having to mow that. So this takes the risk out of it, because you're going to be sitting in the shade in a lawn chair mowing the slope. Bagger came on and off very easily. I did like that about it. Safety features, you can hit either one of these and shut the whole thing down. So either one of these red knobs will shut the whole thing down. You also have an emergency stop on the remote itself that will shut it down. It does have some sonar, radar, whichever one it is. I don't know which one dolphins use. Dolphins or bats. Sonar for the front bumper. So if I'm trying to get close to a tree, a lot of times it won't let me get close to the tree. In the remote, you can dial that setting all the way back, or you can just completely turn it off. For some of the stuff, I completely turned it off. Whenever I let my 11-year-old drive it around under supervision, of course, I turn the safety features on. You can control the backing speed, so there's a safety feature in the options where I can control the backing speed. If I don't want to slowly back up, I can just turn that off and it backs up just as fast as it pulls forward. If you're still here for the video, I appreciate it. Some closing thoughts. Let me tell you, this wasn't a sponsored video. Mowrator actually reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like you to test this product. We know your audience is our target demographic. Wouldn't it be a good idea for us to get together and see if this will work for them? Part of the deal was they're going to give me a discount code. That is going to be in the description below. If nothing else, I would like you guys to just click on that link and go to their website and just take a look and see if this is within your price range. It is not cheap. The cost of entry is high coming into a Mowrator, especially as all-wheel drive is a little bit more expensive. I'm going to give you my honest opinion, right? They're not sponsoring, they're not paying me. They sent me a mower. I'm not going to compromise my integrity with you guys. You know I don't do this stuff very often at all. For that very reason, I don't want to insult my credibility, and I'm not going to do that by telling you guys something that I don't believe is true for the almighty dollar. I'm not selling anything to you. I just have a discount code for you, and I'm encouraging you to look into it a little bit more. So let's get into my opinions on this. I wrote some of these down, just some highlights. I wanted to talk to you guys about it. So build and design. So how it was built, it is robust. This thing, I said it before, it's a tank. It's a tank in your lawn. Titus can sit on this thing and have it drive him around. He drives with the mower, he sits on top and then he drives it around. He really likes that. That's probably his favorite thing about it because it's basically a giant RC car as far as he's concerned. The benefit for me is he's also mowing, right? So he likes to mow. I just take him into one of my disabled neighbors' yards and we mow the yard. We've mowed my yard twice with it. We've mowed the disabled veteran across the street's grass once or I think twice in the front yard, once in the backyard with it. Big steep embankment at the church, and he was pretty much the one that drove it the whole time. I mean, I have fun with it, but I think he has more fun with it, which makes me have more fun when he's having fun. That's kind of where I'm at as far as build and design. It's robust enough. I'm not worried about him hurting it. With the safety features, I'm not worried about him hurting it. It is really nice for him and I to spend a little time with each other, doing something that he's not going to get bored with. So when you hang out with a plant dad, we're boring. We're just talk about plants all the time. So we like that. So that's as far as build and design. I think they did a good job with it. It is very tough. It's electric, so I can roll it over on its back, look at everything. It's got waterproof seals on there, so I don't got to worry about spraying, leaning it over on the side and hosing it off. I don't have to worry about any of that. The battery slides in very well. It doesn't rattle. I was a little bit worried about that. It clips in here, it plugs in over here. It's got a nice little dust cover that goes over. I mean, it's put together well. It is very professional looking. There's no air in the tires. I don't go to worry about the tires going flat over the winter. As far as winterizing it, you take the battery out and then that's it. That's winterizing it. Just take the battery out. I will probably drain my battery. I'll probably run it to nothing, put it in my shed in the backyard, which isn't heated, but I don't have to worry about that. Battery will be indoors. The remote will be indoors. I wanted to touch a little bit on the safety features. I do like the fact that at any point we can just hit these buttons. At any point we can just hit this button, shut everything down. I do like that I can manually adjust the speed from the remote. That's nice for safety again. I don't let the 11-year-old run it at full speed. I can turn on all the safety features to where he's not going to bump into something. It's not going to go into traffic. So very busy. I was a little bit worried, and then I started playing around with it for about 20 minutes before I let him touch it. By the time I was like, oh, I've got to dumb down these safety features, I knew it was okay at that point for him to get a hold of it and drive it around. But if you can play an Xbox, you can use a Mowrator. Like if you've ever driven anything RC, it's exactly the same. Forward, back, left, right. I mean, it's easy to use, very intuitive. It paired up well with it right out of the gate. Putting it all together, there wasn't a whole lot of things to put together. You just basically have to, charge the battery, put the battery inside, put the wheels on. It required some screwing. What I would recommend is if you are disabled in some way or like mobility is an issue, this is very, very heavy. So I want to give you my honest opinion. Getting this out of the box was not easy. It was very heavy. We did it all outside because the box was so big. FedEx guy and myself, both of us carried it up the driveway to the garage, and then there was no way I was going to roll this into the house. So everything was done outside. That's the safety features. You can, like I said, you can turn those on and off in the remote. Very cool. I think I had mentioned, in whichever take this is, I think I had mentioned that you can go to the website and you can buy a bunch of different blades. You can buy a bunch of different, or a couple different tires, lots of different accessories. On the slope, we did run in, now it took the slope fine. But once you start chopping up a lot of that grass, a lot of the juices from the grass were kind of making it a little slippery, and sometimes it was having a hard time gaining purchase. It never slowed down once. I don't know if this is a huge battery. It looks like a nice sized battery. Looks, you know, pretty much it's the size of the Mowrator itself. But this thing, for an hour and a half, was going up and down slopes down at a church down the street, had a big old giant slope. And it was slipping a little bit on the way up, but it never slowed down. Does that make sense? Those wheels were still spinning. It didn't matter how steep that slope was. It didn't matter if it was cutting while it was climbing up. Now, the ascent angle, right? So how much of a slope it can go up. We have this blade all the way up. Here's the adjustment here. It can adjust from 1.5 inches to 4 and something inches on the highest setting. We put it all the way to the highest setting, took the bagger off, just let her eat. You know, no mulching attachment in there or anything. We just let her eat. There's a couple different 3 modes. You can have this, you can take the bagger off and then you can put in the mulching attachment, or you can just leave it open like this and just let her eat. And that's what we did on that hill. You can tell those blades are spinning at 3,200 RPM. It'll send stuff out of the back. It looks like a rooster tail, like you're at a mud derby or something like that. It worked very, very well. But the ascent angle, sometimes we had to come from the side and then go straight up, right? Because it didn't have the ground clearance. I don't know if it's possible to change, but I would really like to see them have a higher setting for the deck. The deck floats, so I'm not going to do that right now because it's sitting on the deck, but the deck kind of floats, so you don't have to do, it's not, mow height isn't dependent on the tires. It's the deck itself moves. I would like to see some sort of adjustment so I can bring up the tires. I know that might be asking a lot, but I would like a little bit more ground clearance. So if that means bringing the deck to where I can bring the deck 6 inches high, I would like to do that, especially for rougher terrain, so I can buzz through and miss stumps and like big sticks laying on the ground. I felt like it was a little close to the ground for the stuff that I couldn't see, that was so overgrown I couldn't really see what was going on in there. That being said, it never slowed down. It will push right over everything. What it was doing is it was pushing the grass down, and then it was cutting a little bit of the grass. And then I would back over it and I'd bring the grass the other way and I'd cut some more. So it took a couple passes with the real thick stuff, but it never bogged down once. My gas-powered lawnmower bogs down more. Now it's got a bigger deck, but it bogs down way more than this thing did. This thing just ate. It just ate. I was so impressed with how well it just pushed through the big stuff. I was knocking over sunflowers. I was having a blast with this thing. It was great. Now obviously you have to turn off the safety features in the front if you want to push over a sunflower. You're gonna have to do that. Not the biggest sunflowers that I had, but some of the smaller ones, I just mowed right over them. It was great. Never bogged down one time. Well, wait, that did happen once. It's got a safety feature where it will keep from screwing up your Mowrator. If it hits something, it's not gonna that it can't cut through. It shuts her down, right? And it was a little tiny log about that big that just got wedged perfectly in there. So that's why I was saying it would be nice if there was a little bit more ground clearance, but now that I've got those areas cut down, now I'm cutting those areas all the way down to 1.5 inches, which is the lowest setting. So once you kind of buzz through it a couple times, which is easy to do because it's a remote control lawnmower, it doesn't take any work. The most fun I've ever had mowing ever in my entire life has been in these past 2 weeks. I wanted to do kind of a man on the street thing where I was walking around and I was letting people try it out. And no one wants to be on camera now. Thank you, internet, for being so much fun with in the comment section that now no one wants to be on the internet anymore. So I appreciate that. Thank you. All you trolls out there, you've done it. You've arrived. So we covered the battery runtime. No issues with the battery. There's no issues. This is so intuitive. As far as the operating system that they've put in place here, very intuitive. There was nothing, if you have a cell phone, you know, you're used to options and things like that. There was no problem with it. It was so simple. I put this in the hand of my girlfriend who has never mowed anything in her entire life, and she mowed half the front yard. Now, she was careful. She went really super slow. It's like watching a sloth eat a popsicle, but she's never mowed before, so she's very cautious. She did a good job. It's the first time she's ever mowed was with the Mowrator. Then I put it in the hands of my 11-year-old, and he's just going ham. I had to slow him down, had to speed her up, had to slow him down. But then after about 20 minutes of them operating them, boy, they were both just really good, really good. Neither one of them know how to mow, so it was, you know, there was a little bit of learning curve, like, okay, you've got to cut the grass you haven't cut. You can't just keep going back and forth on the grass you've already cut. So we had a good time with that. So, and we've done the cutting options and versatility there. I would say on the higher slopes, we did run into an issue where when we got too high on the slope, when we got too high up the hill, we would have to walk forward a little ways and get it to reinitiate, like kind of reinitiate with the Mowrator itself. With the remote, we have to walk forward 10 feet, grab it, you know, virtually grab it or however, and then back it back down the hill and spin it around and keep going. So once we got an idea of where the cutoff was, where we couldn't go any further, we just stayed, you know, a couple feet away from that, turned around at the top of the hill and came back down. I think it worked out amazing for hills because there's no manual labor involved, right? So if I have to do 3 swipes up and down to get it to the point where it starts looking good, where now it looks like it was mowed, which would almost be a possibility. That's why this was so, it looks like it had been brush hogged. That's about it. About once a year, somebody from the church brings their brush hog in, they brush hog it down, keep all the saplings and stuff out of there. Looks great. It looks great. Or somebody goes and weed eats it or however they take care of it. But we mowed it. We did a really good job. I think this did a fantastic job doing that, but it did take a couple trips. So, but it never bogged down. I was impressed by that thing. To wrap it up, you've got safety features until you start feeling comfortable. Then you can start kind of work the safety features down. You can adjust how fast the blade's going to be spinning. You can adjust how smart you want the safety features to be. I like that I can drive this back to me to empty the bagger, right? So I'm just like, all right, follow me. Let's go to the unbagging place. The bagger worked great, but they do have an automatic bagging an automatic empty version too. They also have a camera that you can apply. Now, the camera was I feel like I could probably figure out a less expensive way to do that. Their camera is very professional. It's a very nice looking setup, but I think it's about $1,300. I could be wrong, but a camera is necessary. I feel like a camera would be something that would be necessary. Now, the camera on their website attaches to the top here, the screen. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
You want to see the most beautiful thing I've ever filmed?
It attaches to the top here, and you can, just look at the first person view. I do think that's important because if I'm standing over here by these New Guinea impatiens and I'm running this, I don't really know how far I've got to go before I'm into my neighbor's yard. If you're a stickler for like really tight lines, it does have a cruise control button right here, and then these 2 buttons on the side, a 180 to the right, a 180 to the left. There is a discount code, like I said, in the description below if you guys wanted to go take a better look at the Mowrator and all the features and all the accessories that you can purchase for this. Please feel free. This is Landscape Rescue. My name's Stuart Moore, and thank you very much for letting me to come into your home and talk about the Mowrator.